With its second and final season, Arcane upped the ante in every conceivable way. The huge ensemble of established characters is forced to develop dramatically in the wake of the events Jinx set in motion in the cliffhanger finale of Season 1. Studio Fortiche packs every bit as much artistic flair into this story as before, and the same can be said of the music team, once again led by Alex Seaver and Alexander Temple, who produced a jaw-dropping amount of music for this season. Just like the characters, the score develops in fascinating ways as well, even managing to reveal some significant moments in the score of Season 1. Oh, and did I mention Ray Chen? Ray Chen is back. Jinx's sense of familial abandonment plays a pivotal role again this season as she's confronted by Vi, is forced to reckon with Silco's death, and develops a bond with a young Underdweller named Isha. Caitlyn and Vi form a strike force to descend into the Undercity after Jinx. Once they reach Jinx in the depths of the sewers, they find themselves in a chamber with an enormous mural, and Jinx recounts,
"Don't you remember the old Janna bedtime stories Vander used to tell us? Miners trapped underground, air running thin, but then some wispy wind woman wafts to their rescue."
Their battle ensues, underscored by wood kids to ashes and blood. The chant that can be heard throughout the song is in the fictional language of Shuriman, spoken by the worshippers of Janna, the wind goddess, who, as Jinx said, Zawnites prayed to for clean air. It's a neat tie-in to Runeterra lore and the narrative of the show. Ashes and Blood also acts as a musical callback to Woodkid's Season 1 song, Guns for Hire, with a nearly identical melody in the final cadence. Both songs play during important inflection points for Vi and Jinx. As Vi is unable to take down Jinx, the Sisters theme also returns in a somber and fragmented form, representing the fractured relationship they now share.
Had to be you.
After the attack on the Council, Caitlyn moves fully into the spotlight as one of Season 2's main characters. Her mother Cassandra's funeral is artfully depicted using charcoal drawings and is underscored with Freya writings, "I can't hear it now." Continuing the trend of combining soundtrack and score, the string orchestra swells, overtaking the vocals with a lush secondary dominant progression. The sustaining strings cause a painfully longing dissonance in the rising chord. The secondary dominant harmony calls to mind the music of the late classical and early romantic eras, that of Mozart, Beethoven, and Schubert. This continues the Season 1 motif that Piltover is represented by classical opulence, and is well suited for one of its most highly esteemed families. This progression comes to represent a lingering emotion for Caitlyn, but not one as simple as pain or sadness. It returns as Caitlyn's father gives her the Kiraman Key, an important item her mother entrusted her to inherit.
Your mother left this to you.
The Kiraman Key. I don't deserve it.
Though it seems Cassandra's faith in her may have been misplaced. Following a terrorist attack on her mother's memorial, Caitlyn begins to exhibit an increasing lust for revenge, one that Ambessa Medarda quickly picks up on and uses to her advantage. The Noxian warlord and Mel's mother takes on a much more central role this season, using the chaos between Piltover and Zaun as a way to grab power. After Caitlyn and Vi's strike force fails to eliminate Jinx in the sewers, Ambessa calls for an emergency wartime council to be led by Caitlyn as general, knowing she'll have her ear as an advisor.
Caitlin Kierman.
The Noxians' theme is fittingly militaristic and percussive. In fact, it only returns in the form of war drums as Mbessa's forces invade in Act 3. It's during the invasion that Caitlin is finally able to make her stand against Mbessa alongside Mel. Here, the Kierman progression returns in full orchestration as Mbessa is defeated.
You fought well, child. Now!
Allowing Caitlin to atone for her tyrannical actions. And that's it. Atonement is the word to characterize this progression. In the final act of Season 1, Cassandra Kierman was ready to atone for Piltover's atrocities by giving Zaun a seat at the table, but she was killed by Jinx before getting the chance. Caitlin tragically never knew this, instead using the Kierman key to enact revenge against Zaun using its airways. Revenge her mother never would have wanted. To accept her mother's legacy is to accept Piltover's atonement for its actions against Zaun.
The exaltation of every triumph is more than one should bear.
The final iteration of this progression proves that Caitlin has finally realized her mother's and her own true wish, altering the final chords to resolve downward into major.
Jinx is dead.
Act 2 begins with Jinx as a shut-in, denying her significance as a symbol to the Zaunites. She's also established a maternal big sister relationship with Isha, who's secretly been pretending to be Jinx to rally the Undercity against the increasingly authoritarian Piltover enforcers. Sevika is similarly trying to form a coalition of Zaunite factions to rise up and gives a speech at Vander's statue. Here, the chord progression from Goodbye returns.
We gotta choose right now whether we're gonna throw in the towel or make a stand together as Zaunites.
But resolves into a more hopeful progression. Showing the movement started by Silco has momentum with Jinx as its leader. Isha and many others are taken prisoner at the rally, forcing Jinx into action alongside Sevika to rescue them from Stillwater Prison. Arriving to rescue the Zaunite captives, Jinx is surprised by their reverence towards her, and another theme returns. This theme has rarely been heard outside of Young Powder singing it in the first scene of the show. But now it returns for full orchestra. Not only does this mean the song exists within the world of the show, like a folk song, but its return here signals something of a shift for Jinx's character. The bridge theme can be viewed as a representation of unity and solidarity, especially within Zaun. Jinx now exists as an icon of hope for the Undercity, and this theme solidifies her new role. Rescuing Isha, the Sisters theme returns, now for the first time without Vi present. Showing how much Jinx's new sense of family has changed her. This new familial connection proves even more important as Vander, now a hulking beast tainted by Singed's experiments, is thrust back into her life, forcing her to reconcile with a spiraling Vi as they try to scrape back what little they have left of their family. The Sisters theme, perhaps now the family theme, continues to appear on their journey to cure Vander.
What if we stayed? Helped them out?
We?
Of course, this happiness isn't meant to last, as multiple fronts converge on Victor's utopian encampment.
I won't fail. I swear it.
In the chaos of the ensuing battle, and with Vander going berserk, Isha decides to take action in an attempt to save Jinx. This moment is a singular tragic highlight of the series, with its pastel-colored flashbacks increasing the emotional gut punch tenfold. Yi Sun-chan sings the first non-English song in all of Arcane in Mandarin. The non-verbal Isha having an inner voice in a different language than the show's original spoken language is a beautiful way to convey raw human emotion without the need for words. To further this point, Isha's song isn't even subtitled, leaving viewers to simply watch and listen. For the many viewers who do understand Mandarin, the lyrics are equally meaningful. Viewed from Isha's perspective, she sings about wanting Jinx to see her as she sees Jinx, a beautiful firework, blossoming and filling her bleak world with color. The strings ascend the Mixolydian flat 6 scale. Harmony we once heard accompany a bright-eyed young Powder as she stared in awe of the world in episode 1. As these horrors occur in the main reality of the show, meanwhile, Echo and Heimerdinger have been flung into a vastly different reality by the Wildrune anomaly. Echo is shocked to find himself working along a kind, mentally stable Powder. His adoptive father, Benzo, as well as Vander and his friends Milo and Clagger are all alive and well. Hextech doesn't exist, and Zaun is a thriving sister city to an equally prosperous Piltover. The score of the show changes dramatically as well, feeling more akin to a peaceful slice-of-life romance. Yet even with this idyllic world laid out before him, Echo knows this isn't where he's needed.
I have people back home who need me. We don't belong here.
He meets Heimerdinger at a bar, who reveals that he awoke in this reality 3 years ago. And in a world without need of his scientific genius, he's become a musician. I love this concept for obvious reasons, but it also leads to his lovely song, Spin the Wheel.
Go spin the wheel and see where it lands.
This song is singular within Arcane's score, and for good reason. Without the strife, tyranny, and deep-seated inequalities of Piltover and Zaun, a path is forged for music of peace, a departure from the dark, thumping synth bass of the Undercity and the posh, orchestral opulence of Piltover. It's also the only song other than Powder's to be sung by a character within the show, and what a stark contrast it represents.
Heimerdinger's song in episode 7, we localized the show in 25 languages, and so we translated and recorded 25 different languages for this song. So every single region is going to hear Heimerdinger singing in their language.
Echo is able to enjoy his own moment of musical bliss, dancing with Powder to Stromae's Latin beat-heavy Ma meilleure ennemie, further demonstrating Zaun's connection to its own in-universe culture of pop music. The French lyrics connect to Echo and Powder's cursed romance, declaring that though they love each other, it may be better if they'd never met. Between Isha's song in Mandarin and this song in French, and Heimerdinger's song recorded in 25 different languages, the soundtrack's more multicultural approach also speaks to the diversity present within Zaun itself. Upon his inevitable departure back to his own reality, Echo glances wistfully down at Powder while the bridge theme plays on a solo cello. harkening back to his universe's Jinx, who he last encountered in a violent struggle on the bridge. With this sense of closure, Echo reunites with Jinx for the final battle. Together they produce what may be the most hype moment in the whole series. Blaring from the speakers of Jinx's dirigible, "Stray Kids, Come Play" brings the Zonites into the fight. Accompanied by strings and brass, once again fusing a song with the orchestral score. This proves to be the apex of the score and soundtrack blending started in Season 1, and the climax of the Zonites' pop music-focused identity within Arcane. You can really always count on Echo to be the coolest character in the show. But it's Victor who proves to be the most perplexing character of all. His development in Season 1 left many unanswered questions that diminished his overall role in the conflict, but with the revelations of his character arc fully brought to light, the score has had new light shed on it as well.
No one believed me.
Nobody's ever believed in me. I was an outsider the moment I stepped foot in Piltover.
Victor's first discussion with Jace in Season 1 is accompanied by a sequence of notes played by a solo violin.
I simply believed in myself, which is why I'm here.
The violin leaps an octave from the root D before ascending another step and gliding gracefully down. The raised 6th scale degree evokes the Dorian mode's somewhat uneasy and curious-sounding nature. Victor and Jace's partnership begins with a motif so subtle I didn't even recognize it as a theme originally.
I don't even know your name.
It's Victor.
This is especially due to its close proximity and synergy with another important theme. It appears several times throughout Season 1, accompanying Victor and Jace as they research and present their findings on Hextech.
Scientists seek discoveries, ways to make the world a better place. The Hex Clone, a mechanical arm equipped with a powerful ray of light.
But there's already a theme for Hextech, right? Well, it turns out there's more to it than that. The ostinato used as the progress theme lies embedded within this theme. Just as Hextech develops, so too does the relationship between its founders, Victor and Jace. Just like these two themes, they're intertwined. In fact, each recurrence of this theme adds a new melodic element. First, a descending intro, next, an ascending line tagged onto the ending. This can make it difficult to pin down as it's always growing, changing, undergoing some kind of
glorious evolution.
Okay then. Yet there's one scene in Season 1 where this theme truly expands. In a flashback, we see Victor, as a child in the Undercity, testing a mechanical toy boat he's invented. As he places it into the water, the full theme emerges in its original key with an entire new phrase. The Dorian mode here plays into Victor's childlike curiosity with the science of the world around him. This is the earliest chronological point in which we've heard the theme, and the childish purity of Victor's ambitions is complemented by the first purely represented version of the full melody. Because of this association with young Victor, the theme comes to represent Victor's dream throughout Arcane. That is, to use science to help improve the lives of the ill and the disabled, especially in his birthplace. Later events in Season 1 certainly challenge the purity of Victor's ambition, as he and Jace relentlessly pursue their Hex Core as a means of bringing this dream to fruition. Victor's risky experiment fusing with the Hex Core backfires with disastrous consequences. The theme becomes distorted by lowering the 6th scale degree to become a somber natural minor. It then suddenly shifts keys, making the harmony as destabilized as the Hex Core itself. Victor's dream has come at a grave cost, tainting its purity, and the theme recedes until Season 2. Season 2 begins with Jace racing to save Victor's life using the Hex Core after the explosion in the Council Chamber. The procedure is underscored by a dramatically more dissonant iteration of the theme. This time, the typically Dorian harmony is subverted for a much more dire-sounding Phrygian, as Victor's body is subject to a dangerously untested operation, using the object he and Jace have staked their dreams on. Jace looks after his comatose partner as he undergoes mysterious biological changes due to the Hex Core. After a shocked Victor awakens, he admonishes Jace for his actions with the Hex Core, and leaves, his partner heartbroken. Their dream as partners seemingly dead, the theme is not heard for nearly the entire rest of the show. Like Caitlin, Victor's humanity becomes clouded by his ambitions. He descends to the shimmer-ridden depths of the Undercity he once called home, and uses his newfound arcane powers to cure the sick. His utopian promise and arcane healing powers quickly garners him a cult of Zonite followers. Meanwhile, as part of the Wild Rune phenomenon, Jace is transported to a nightmarish post-apocalyptic Piltover, where he witnesses what becomes of the final evolution of Hextech. A ravaged city of mindless, arcane-infused humanoid creatures, contrasted only by the cloak-wearing sorcerer once seen to have rescued Jace as a child in episode 2 of the first season. Speaking of that scene, there's something else hidden in there. You thought I wouldn't notice. And you were right, but I do notice, now! As Victor tries to use Piltover's Wild Rune to begin humanity's glorious evolution, Jace returns from the apocalyptic timeline, determined to stop him. In their final clash, Jace reveals the truth of his resolve.
Why do you persist? After everything I've done?
Because I promised you.
The score gives way to a minimalist violin phrase. In film scoring, minimalism has often been used to convey great intellect or cosmic understanding. So minimalism suits the brightest minds in the world coming together to pursue the secrets of the universe. With Victor revealed to have been the sorcerer all along, and his humanity restored, this partners theme reaches its apotheosis.
There is no prize to perfection, only an end to pursuit. In all possibilities, only you can show me this. You must go, Jace.
Finish this together.
Victor and Jace embrace, destroying their invention, their dream, together. I obviously adore the score of the first season, but even I didn't realize this theme was hiding in plain sight, evolving along with its characters and their pursuit of knowledge. It creates such a beautiful arc for them, the likes of which I've rarely seen in media.
Is that singing?
It's just a tune my mother used to hum.
The show finishes with a final recurrence of the bridge theme, which Vi hums softly. As the orchestra swells, the harmony diverges from its original somber ending before suddenly coming to a halt, unresolved. This bookends the entire show with Jinx's song, heavily implying that her story isn't over yet. Arcane was already on track to be one of the best animated television shows ever made with just a single season, so Season 2 had one gigantic task to fulfill. Don't mess it up. Not only did Fortiche and the Riot Music team not mess it up, in many ways with Season 2 they elevated what was already great about Season 1. I feel genuinely privileged to live in a time where I can witness such a masterful display of animated artistry over the course of an entire TV show. I'm not sure where Fortiche will go from here, but I know I'll be there to watch whatever they've got coming next. Thanks for watching to the end, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe.
You have